All right. Well, we're now ready to go back to Seller Central. Paul showed you in an earlier video how to quickly add a bare bones new product to Seller Central. But now we're going to go back. We're going to finish building out your listing in Seller Central. Now, here's what's unique about Search Find Buy this course. Most people will just show you how to add a product. They'll just show you the location for where you put the bullet points, and then they will sort of leave you to your own devices. The problem with that is this is a chicken or egg sort of business. Like, I had to teach you about keyword research. I had to teach you about how to write copy for your listing to learn the language of the market. I had to show you the concepts behind optimizing your listing. Now we're going to go back armed with that knowledge to finish building out your listing. You're going to be 10 times more effective now that you have this base of knowledge, okay? And so I couldn't teach you this part until we went through a lot of advanced ninja stuff. And now we're going to circle back and we're going to kind of complete the build out of your listing in Seller Central. Let's do that now. I've built an SOP for you. I mean, believe it or not, this is the easy part now. Initially you probably thought this was where you're going to be spending a lot of your time in Seller Central trying to build out your listing. Actually, now that you've done all the heavy lifting, all the hard work's done. And now we can just kind of do fill in the blank almost. So you're going to log in your Seller Central account. I already mentioned at the opening of this video, and I mentioned at the top of this SOP, that we already provided you a video of how to add a new product to Seller Central and how to obtain a UPC code, how all that works. So if you skip that video, you have to go back because they will not let you add a new product without a UPC code in Seller Central. Okay, so we're just going to go through the tabs here, and I'm sorry I can't show you inside my actual Seller Central account because I keep my brands private for all the obvious reasons. But there are these things that we're going to move from left to right. Okay, vital information. I didn't even need to show you, but that's just simply where you put like the product title and just very, very basic information that is self-explanatory. Okay, so we're going to just go to the areas where I just wanted to give you a little more description here. The first one is offer. And you'll notice that I have these numbers here, 1, 2, 3. So I like to use a technique, just for lack of a better way to put it, called the stair-step technique. So I like to use stair-stepped pricing on my listings so that my listings always appear to be giving a great value. So the first thing to fill out is the manufacturer's suggested retail price. And since you're the manufacturer, you can put whatever price you want in here. So the way I do it is I actually kind of reverse engineer this. I say, what is the actual legit net price that I want my customer to pay? So for this particular product, let's say it's going to be $17.22. So this then becomes what's called the sale price. I always have, for every one of my listings, a quote sale price. Why? Because it looks like the customer is getting a value. Okay. Then I say, okay, well then what would my normal price be? Well, I'm going to do it roughly $10 more. So the regular price is going to be $27.95. Here it's called your price. Okay. Your price. And then the manufacturer suggested retail price is going to be higher. That's the max price. So $49.99. And see how we kind of do a stair step like this with our price, so that the consumer feels like they're getting a fantastic value. So always start with your manufactured retail price. That's going to be your highest price. Then your quote regular price is going to be less than that, $27.95. And then every listing that you have should, in my opinion, display a sale price so that the consumer feels like they're getting a bargain. And so in an earlier video, I showed you how to figure out your initial pricing. And that was in the context of that you need your initial price so that you can figure out your target price when you contacted suppliers. And so that comes back into play here. Again, if that seems like you can't quite remember that, go watch that video of how to figure out your price for your product, because that price, like the bottom line price, is going to be that sale price right here. Does that make sense? So I probably made that sound way more complicated, but just Enter this first. This will be the max price. This is the quote regular non-sale price, and this is going to be your sale price that will always be displayed on your listing, okay? Now, whenever you do a sale price, you're going to have, they require a start date and an end date. So just make the start date, today's date, but then make sure you put the sale end date way, way into the future. I have this at like 2025. Just do it as far out in the future because you will forget. If you do it for like a year from now, and you're like, oh, I'll remember. No, you won't. This thing will be selling, and all of a sudden your sales will screech to a halt, and you'll wonder why. That's because you forgot the sell price expired, and now it's $10 more, and it killed your conversion rate. Okay. I'm just going to make a note here. Down in this area, max order quantity. Always leave that blank. The only exception, and we'll cover this on a later video, is when you are going to be trying to rank and launch this product, we're going to use deep discount coupons called single-use coupons. And there's a risk that somebody could use like a 90% off coupon and steal all of your inventory. I've had it happen to me. It's not a good feeling. So in that case, just set this to 1. That means that somebody who has a 90% off coupon can't add 500 items to their cart. Okay, this will limit each purchaser to just 1 unit. But you don't want to put that in there by default, because remember, we have the coupon stack, right? And the coupon stack encourages them to buy multiple units, right? So that's the normal front-facing part. And so if you keep this at 1, nobody can get more than 1 unit at a time, and it makes that coupon stack not work. So just in a normal course of running your Amazon business, always leave this blank unless you're going to be running a deep discount coupon offer to spike your rank and your visibility on Amazon. Don't worry, we'll get to this later. In that case, you do, just for the limited time that you're running those deep discount coupons, you want to protect your inventory by setting your max order quantity to 1. Again, I'm just planting this seed in your mind now. Nothing you need to do at all for max order quantity at this stage on this video. Just mental note for later. All right, the next section we're going to look at here is the images tab. This one's really self-explanatory. All you have to do is you click choose file, and whatever you upload first will become your main image. And see that little thing that says main? And the one thing I did want to bring to your attention here is these are the rules right within Amazon. It says the products must fill at least 85% of the image. What they mean by that is, like, if you have a square image, and by the way, you always want to do 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. So that's a square image. That means 1,000 wide here, okay, by 1,000 wide here, square image. They don't want like all white space and then the product to be this big. They want it, basically as much to fill that image as possible. Now, they don't have any way to measure that 85%. That's just a guideline, okay? So if yours is like 81%, don't sweat bullets. Don't like get out a tape measure and somehow try to measure it on your screen. The spirit of it is they just want the product to fill that square 1,000 by 1,000. It also says here, as you'll see, no logos, no watermarks, okay? Images may only contain text that's part of the product. Again, that's the benefit of having product packaging right within that image, because you can put like basically great text on there, but under no circumstances are you allowed to write text in the image itself. Are you with me? Good. So what else? Main images must have pure white background. We already talked about that. Must be a photo, not a drawing. You are allowed to use 3D renderings because Amazon, the general public, anybody, they can't discern the difference between a computer-generated 3D rendering and a photo. So that's perfectly acceptable. Images must be at least 1,000, and it says at least 500, but always go 1,000 by 1,000, okay? If you go a little bit higher, that's fine. The max I would do would be 3,000 by 3,000, but you always want to do square images, okay? But 1,000 by 1,000 is the sweet spot. Images must not exceed 10,000 pixels. Well, no problem there, because we're going to do 1,000 by 1,000. And JPEG is the preferred image format. And I'll just, as an aside, I'll say, if this is all Greek to you, like some of you just have no experience with image file types, and all this is like pixels and this and that and JPEG. There's a site called Fiverr, and for basically $5, you can find people that'll do any image tasks that you need done. They'll resize. They can oftentimes, manipulate images to make the colors pop better and things like that. So if there's any task that I need done that really for anything kind of freelance oriented, I do a quick search on Fiverr. I can get it done fast and cheap almost always. So anyway, you're allowed to upload. I upload 7 images because those are the visible ones, main, and then 6 other ones. Let's keep going. The description tab. Okay, so the way that Amazon has you fill in information, they kind of flip-flop it on us. So in a listing, they see the bullets, and then down here, they see what's called the product description. See? And it says product description right there. But in Amazon's infinite wisdom, they make us fill out the product description first, followed by the bullets. And hey, why keep things simple and call it bullets? Instead, they call it key product features. But that's why I just reminded you, these are actually the bullet points. And there's 5 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Now, let's start with the product description first. You might notice here, and I'm just going to blow this up so you can see this a little bit better. You might notice here that I have some basic HTML formatting. I have like a paragraph thing, B for bold, and then the close symbol for stop bold, end of paragraph, new paragraph bold, blah, 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 blah. They allow basic HTML formatting, and you can and should use it. And let me show you exactly why. So this is a listing with absolutely no formatting. It just is like dead on the eyes. Just dead. It's like blah, 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 like single lines. It's just ugly. Your eye doesn't know where to go. It just, the typical scanner or impulse buyer is literally just going to bypass this. This almost looks like boring dog tag information, name, rank, and serial number, right? This, though, is an example of a product description that has been formatted that is eye-catching. So there's some bold here. There's some bullets here, right? This looks great. And this is how all of my product descriptions are formatted. If we're not using enhanced brand content, which you won't be able to because you have to apply for that once you get a trademark. So don't even sweat it. Don't worry about it. I always make my listings have this basic formatting. And you might say, well, Ben, what's an easy way to do the formatting? How do I know what's allowed and what's not allowed? Well, there's a site here. It's a free site. I've included the URL here underneath this video, and I don't know who's behind the site. I don't know how long the site will be around. So if it's gone, don't worry about it. You can just do a Google search for like HTML editor, and it'll do it for you. But like in this example, it says product description editor. This will allow users with no HTML knowledge to create and preview a description on Amazon. And you just copy and paste it. All right. Let me just briefly show you how this works. So you might remember from the how to write your Amazon listing, I show some of my favorite layouts and my formulas for doing a product description. And a lot of these have formatting. Okay, see the formatting there? Bold, and then bullets. And so why don't we just recreate this? I'll show you how to make this here. So we're going to do the top line. We're going to use my little snippets of the testimonial. So put this here. And see how it automatically adds that stuff there? So we're going to make this bold. Boom. It just automatically adds the stuff. We don't need 2 spaces here. Then we're going to do another sentence that's all bold here, like this. And we're going to make this bold. And next. And then we're going to do a series of information bullets here. Oh, okay. See, it's doing a description here. So see how there's not a space right here? I need to add that. So let's see. It's after highly recommended. We're going to add one more. Boom. There we go. And why don't we make this section italicized. See how it kind of does it while you're doing it? Does it while it's doing it. How's that? We're going to do a bullet here. Let's see, click to add. There we go. And we are going to do this. Click to add that. Okay. And I think you get the point. So we kind of build out this list. I'm just going to kind of finish this off. I'll add a guarantee. And really, you need to look at the so there you go. Okay. So basically what you do is you would copy and paste this whole thing here, and that is what you would put into this box right here called product description. Okay, see how cool that is? So between what I taught you on how to write a listing, my favorite product description layouts, and my formulas, and then this tool called Amazon Product Description, you'll be ahead of like 99% of the sellers out there. Okay. Product features, this is just where you put your 5 bullet points. It's that simple. We can move on. I'm going to show you something very important next, the Keywords tab. I'm going to bounce down to the Keywords tab, and I'm going to cover several things here. Again, Amazon loves to overcomplicate their own life by not calling things what they should be called. So instead of calling them keywords, they call it search terms, okay? Search terms. Now, very important. This is where, you know, if you've been asleep so far, this is where you need to really pay attention. So Amazon, even though they have all of this space, right, you would think that they would allow us to pack that full with as many search terms, you know, single words, single keywords as humanly possible. That's not true. Amazon, for some reason, only allows us 250 bytes, not even characters, 250 bytes maximum in this entire section, not per line, in the entire section, 250 bytes. So typically you'll be able to fill all 250 bytes on the first line. Here is the bad news. If you mess this up, if you go one character beyond 250 bytes, like if you happen to screw up and you go 251 bytes by adding one letter too much, they will invalidate everything you put here. In other words, it won't be indexed, it won't even show up. It's as if it doesn't exist. Crazy, right? I don't know why they do that. And they don't even give you like a character count while you're doing it. Not sure why, but hey, it's their playground, and they allow us to play on it. So it is what it is. So the whole entry is going to be rejected if you exceed 250 bytes. And that's not 250 bytes per line. That is the total you're allowed in search terms. Okay? So to keep myself out of trouble, I use this free service, and I will provide a link to this underneath this video. It's a byte counter. It's a byte counter. So let's say that I am releasing let's say it's a guitar pedal for musicians, right? It's one of those wah-wah pedals or distortion pedals. I used to play guitar in a hard rock band in the 80s, so that's why I picked that. And let's say that I have these search terms that I still need to fit into my listing. Again, this is just all hypothetical. So I've packed and weaved in as many as I can into the front-facing part of my listing, like I showed you in the listing optimization stage. You know, I'm using scribbles for that in Helium 10. But let's say that I still have these leftover words that I couldn't weave in. They didn't make any sense. So I'm going to try to put these into the back end part. So if we paste all these in here, and notice there's no commas and there's no quotation marks and no words are repeated, I've used 183 of my 250 bytes. So I'm good to go. So I'd copy that. I'd go back over here and paste them in here. And ideally, I'm maxing them out. But as you'll find, by the time you weave in most of the single words and you remove the duplicates, you won't even have a lot left over to stuff here in search terms. You are not allowed to stuff brands. So you can't put like Gibson or any other brands. They will suppress your listing if you get caught doing that. They don't like that. We used to do it as a great tactic because you would get, you'd show up in search for these big brands, but the bottom line is it's against terms of service now. Now, I want to give you a huge ninja trick. Do you remember in the optimization video, I showed you this tool called 5K Checker, right? This is where it'll check if you're indexed for your most important keywords. Okay, remember that? And remember that one guy's listing for the tactical flashlight. He wasn't indexed for like more than half of his single words, which is insane. That means he's not even showing up when people search using any of those words. Well, step number one is to try to weave in those words into his listing as much as possible. But sometimes, and this is the part that newer sellers, you'll be miffed when I tell you this, sometimes when you resave the listing, even by weaving in those words, inexplicably, you're still not being indexed for certain of those words. Even though you yourself can see them, they're showing up, they're right in the listing, but you're not being indexed for them. We don't know why. And actually, who knows, who cares why? It is what it is. They're not being indexed, and we need to get them indexed. So one of the tactics is to play around with the location of where you put those keywords to try to trigger that keyword to get indexed. So sometimes you can add it back here under search terms, even though it used to be on the front-facing part. You click Save and Finish. You check back in about 45 minutes because it takes about 45 minutes for your saved like results to be saved and re-indexed in Amazon. Then you run 5K Checker. And sometimes just by moving it from a bullet point to back here, boom, now it's being indexed. But sometimes even though you have it in a bullet and then you try adding it into search terms, you're still not indexed. So guess what we found? And this is a little sneaky. But see this little section here called subject matter and other attributes? Well, here's a little secret, and I'll tell you this if you promise not to tell anybody else. We find that for those sticklers, those words we just can't seem to get indexed for reasons we don't understand, we will put them here. And they allow you up to 4 or 5 things that you can put under subject matter. You just keep clicking right there, add more. So you can add like best, top rated, accessory. Then you go down, save, check it back in 45 minutes, rerun 5K Checker, and you're like, ooh, that worked. Oh, we still have 2 more that aren't working. Let me put them under other attributes. Portable, musician, click add more. I think they allow up to 3 or 4 there too. So by kind of moving them around and also kind of trying to stuff them into areas that technically aren't really keyword sections, that does the trick nearly every time. So again, that's a little advanced. I don't want you to be like overwhelmed, but I'm just giving you some ninja tricks here, okay? All right, let's move on. Oh, something else I just want to mention about this. So there's an SOP that I will post underneath this video that is a screenshot right from Amazon. And I just want to stress something. First of all, do not repeat. Here, let me just show this to you. This is actually in Amazon's own words, not just Ben's words, but do not repeat words. Do not repeat words. So in that search term section, you would not want to do guitar accessory, guitar pedal. You don't need to repeat guitar, so the correct way to do it is guitar accessory pedal. Also, you do not have to include both singular and plural. Just do the singular version, and that's because Amazon, their search is intelligent. It automatically includes both of those in search anyway. So you don't have to do guitar, pedal, and pedals. Just do the singular, guitar, pedal. That really cuts down on the amount of words you need to try to stuff or include into your listing to optimize it. There's not a distinction between upper and lowercase. I always use lowercase. So you don't have to do like guitar with a capital G and a guitar with a lowercase. Just do lowercase. Amazon search automatically realizes people do it both ways, so just do lowercase. Also, you do not need to separate your words using commas. This is wrong. Guitar, comma, accessory, comma, pedal, blues. And Amazon even states this in their rules. Separate the keywords using single spaces only. So here's the correct way to do it. Guitar, space, accessory, pedal, blues. That makes sense? Filler words, you don't need to put them in. So like if this is your keyword, guitar, pedal for blues, these filler words are omitted in search anyway, so you just need to do it guitar, pedal, blues. Okay? And finally, don't use quote signs. So this is wrong. Quote guitar, close quote. Quote accessory, close quote. This is how it needs to look. So no repeats, no commas, no plurals. This technically isn't plural because blues, it's not blueses, it's blues. So that's not plural. So don't get confused by that. You know, meaning like the style of music, rock and roll, blues, right? And don't do quotes. Okay? So this is stuff that if you forget, just look at this SOP. And I just want to show you, this is actual Amazon's guidelines, okay? No need to repeat keywords. Once is enough. How many times I've been telling you this? Everybody wants to fight me on this, okay? Do not include brand names or other product identifiers. Who knows what this means? We've asked. They don't even know. Okay, some of these you can just kind of ignore because they don't really make sense, but I just thought I would show you this here. Okay, again, the magic number is 250 bytes total. Don't exceed that, or they will basically make the entire, every search term you put in there rendered useless. And also, do not forget my little trick. If you're having a hard time getting certain words indexed, try moving them over to here, save it, and then rerun the 5K index checker, and you can see the magic will happen. Under More Details tab, this is easy. Most of these are optional. Most of them I leave blank, and it really depends on the product, the category, and what info Amazon requires. For certain products, there's a couple of these that it'll give you a warning because they're mandatory. But it's so dependent on the category, the product, that I can't really teach that part. Okay, and so I would say for literally every listing I have, other than the required mandatory for my certain category under More Details, I leave every single other thing blank. I found them not to be needed. You know, maybe it's because I'm in certain categories. Maybe in other categories they are essential and they show up differently in search. I have no idea. I only know based on what I've done in my different niches. Okay. So that covers how to sort of build out and finalize your listing in Seller Central. It's really easy because we've already done the heavy lifting. Okay. So that's it. Get to it, and I'll see you on the next video.